Hello, guys. Welcome to this game. This is a pre-recorded game, but this is versus the Mug Maniacs versus ZWD. Their full name is some Chinese thing. Um, I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm just going to say ZWD. I'm Proton Plat player, joined by the one, the only Monsters Inc. Sulpan.
Yeah, welcome. Hello, everyone. We're joining this match from the other side of the bracket, so we actually have very little info on both these teams. But of course, very good bot lanes lined up here for this match, so it should be exciting to watch.
Yep. And we actually do have the draft links, even though these games already happened. We swap over to those, and I give my good bud Sulpan the links to those. Um, let's see here. So this is the game one link. And as you should notice, on the set of Bug Maniacs, they have Ornn, Vex, Trundle, Lucian, and Nami. And ZWD has Silas, Udyr, Janna, Shen, Zaya. So how do you feel about both of these picks, or either side's picks?
Um, Mug Maniacs to me just automatically has the easier to execute on comp. Obviously, Call the Forge got on Ornn, very good teamfight initiation. Vex Trundle is an insanely strong pick duo, especially in two champions that don't have dashes to get over the Trundle pillar. So things like the Zaya, the Janna, the Udyr will really struggle to get away from that mid jungle combo. And then Lucian Nami obviously is the dominant bot lane, playing against the Janna Zaya, which isn't exactly like a crazy synergy or anything. Just having that enchanter support to try and help out Rob there in the bottom lane. But they have a lot of disengage options, so it'll kind of come down to how well can they look or use these disengage options and then re-look for the fight um, while maintaining their health bars just high enough to actually look for that re-engage.
Yeah, and as we finish up our discussion about this draft, because we don't have to wait for anything, we'll just go to a brief intermission as we actually load up the game. Um, any final comments, or should I just get to it?
Let's just jump right into it. I mean, I would say right now, looking at both the comps, I definitely favor Mug Maniacs, but I think it still could go either way here. A lot of it's going to come down to how effective Udyr can be at power clearing and how much Trundle can get done on the map before Udyr comes online.
All right, thank you, Sulpan. All right, welcome back, folks. As we get into this game, let's see how each side plays this. What are you looking for, level one, Sulpan?
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I think it's a 5 point here from ZWG. They don't really have any super strong level 1 CC. Udyr also doesn't benefit
30
from
seconds
getting to
to
hit anything
begin
level 1 because it can
swarming.
kind of mess up his jungle clear just because of the timing on that passive. There's a chance if he ends up burning that at all, then um, it just slows down the jungle clear a little bit. You just want to have that optimal our first two autos, our first two autos, our apply the passive, clear everything. So
Yeah,
I would we get a 5 point here from the CWG, and it looks like we're getting the exact same from Maniacs.
yeah, definitely. And as we notice, it looks
Minions
like the
have
bot lane
spawned.
of ZWD, or sorry, of Mug Maniacs is looking for some sort of level one here. Let's see if ZWD susses anything out. Obviously, Lucian Nami is very strong. What is Goblin doing?
This versus reminding me of season 1, the old bush cheese, but they managed to get all the way to the front here, and doesn't seem like Goblin has any idea.
Uh-oh, Hallows Eve is walking into this brush, and this might be just Hallows Eve dying. Gets ignited. Will get flashed on. Will Hallows Eve survive? Will survive for now. Goblin has that lethal tempo stacked up. Pat Clark started with the W, didn't start with the E. He flashes in, actually gets the first blood. Goblin gets exhausted, and Asteria forces Goblin to flash away. So that is now only Ignite on the side of ZWD. No, no sums on the side of Mug Maniacs, but they get first blood.
That feels really good. I mean, you burn all your summoners in bottom lane, but your cheese actually pays off here for the side of Bug Maniacs. On top of that, a Goblin is now 1 HP under tower. They managed to kill off the Jhin, and they're crashing this wave super early. They're in a really good spot here to just continue to take over the game on the Lucian Nami.
Yeah. Good start, definitely, for the Mug Maniacs. Already going out for a CS lead. This Trundle just full clearing alongside the Udyr, but it looks like Trundle's doing it faster.
Looks like he's maybe opting into just skipping Raptors, which I agree with. Taking Raptors on Trundle is kind of pain because he has none of that AoE clearing that anyone else does in the game. So we'll just go slide and slap the red buff around for a little bit. Knows that there's no flashes in this bottom lane, so I'd imagine both junglers right now are just looking in that direction.
Yeah, actually, we noticed that the bot lane of Maniacs took an early recall, so Asteria with that longsword should have the damage advantage. We'll see what Goblin can get with this recall. Probably not much. Actually, also gets a longsword, so it should be even in this lane.
Managed to stay even in farm. I mean, the kill did end up going over to Nami there, so the real buy is in this boots start, plus a little bit of that extra mana regen for the Nami, so more sustain in the bottom lane, much easier to end up run up, try and get that damage in with the spells thieves. Will feel a lot better trying to stack up that ward item early on in the game.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it looks like Nilik actually has to flash away. Donnie already forcing out with some pressure here in the mid lane.
Yep, that's Vex just bullying out this poor melee, but unfortunately, Onyx is here and will even things right on up.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Actually, Donnie still has flash. Onyx just walks through, doesn't even care about the Vex.
Kinda juked.
Yeah, and X-Ray actually taking a beating here in the top lane, but they should know that the Udyr is coming up top, so much dog actually will back away for now.
Yeah, this is a little bit brutal. They currently have the 3 winning lanes on the side of Mug Maniacs. Vex starting to push out Nilik, Orin already shoving the tower here against X-Ray, and of course Lucian Nami with the early first blood cheese. It feels really good right now. They can just kind of sit back, farm up, but now Donnie may have tried to a little bit too aggressively to crash this wave. It's actually just going to get dove on and now being stopped by the Trundle.
Yeah, Nilik doesn't have flash here. Dark Juice, this she puts up the pillar, says, "Hello, how are you doing?" Walks away.
They're playing it safe.
Yeah. So, other than that level 1, not a whole lot of action going on here.
Fairly calm so far. Do have Trundle now clearing out the level 2 camps on the top side. A little bit, I think, off the... Or I think his Trundle clear is getting a little bit funky because he's now stayed out much past the normal recall timer. We'll now finally get the recall at 5 minutes here, but we'll be definitely behind Onyx here on the power clear.
Yep. Onyx already ahead in CS. That Balmy Cinder is going to feel good. Trundle bought something, bought a Sheen, and then sold, refunded it. Actually gets the Caulfield's Warhammer. We'll see what that builds into. Probably Divine Sunder, you have to believe.
Yeah, it's the go-to item, and especially into Shen plus Udyr. You're going to be hitting a lot of tanks this game, so good call here for Dark Juice to go for that Mythic.
Yeah, Nilik actually takes a big poke there, so this Vex is kind of hurting. He also did use his TP to get back to lane.
And Nilik didn't really have a huge buy here either. It's just Corrupting Potion plus Storage Shield, so gonna be hurting a little bit in lane, does have the sustain, but that's a great bubble.
Oh, Pat Clark actually gets the bubble, gets the ignite, gets the exhaust, and that is Goblin dying in this lane as well. The Dark Juice didn't even need to do anything though. That was a nice bubble by Pat Clark.
Level 6 versus
also
level 6.
Going in here, just gets his Conqueror stacked up, but nothing more than that. He's level 6, but he doesn't steal the ult either. But Onyx is here for something. Donnie does have that flash. Will use it. Nilik, ambitious chains there to try and go in. So actually, Nilik takes the worst of that trade too.
Be a little bit careful here. It looks like actually Mug Maniacs want to start up this dragon. Trundle's been moved into the pit. Oh, nice engage!
Actually, Nilik is probably dead here. Donnie solo kills Nilik, and the Udyr was just there to witness that happen. Will clear this wave, so it won't get frozen on or anything. But this is not looking good for the side of ZWD.
Mug Maniacs here just doing a really good job. So they've got the dragon, they've got 3 winning lanes. They're absolutely just dominating the Rift right now, and Donnie, additionally with the solo kill, gets this wave crashed and is just denying so much here to Nilik.
Yeah. Already coming out to a sizable CS lead in both the bot and the mid lane. And not really a whole lot to show for it on the side of ZWD.
Now do have the level 6 up here on the Orin X-Ray as well, so all the plays now need to be focused more towards this top side. You want to make sure you can prevent the Shen from actually ulting out of this lane.
Yeah.
But with the Ornn up here, there's also the argument that you just want to force out the Channel and then look for
Yeah.
plays. Either way, so much dog still doing just so much damage here on the Ornn, being
Yeah.
such a bully. It's making X-Ray's life extremely difficult to play.
And Onyx just comes up here for a gank or something, but doesn't find anything. So much dog was just playing wet noodle fights with X-Ray. They will shove in this wave, but against an Ornn, you're not really accomplishing much. So Onyx keeps on trying to look for stuff, but he's not finding anything.
You have Rift Herald spawning up here, so this might be the reason we have so many people running top. There'll just be the recall now from X-Ray, so not looking for it immediately, but there are just still numbers up here for both these teams, so there's a good chance we see some action around this Herald in a few minutes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to talk about this game right now. We do see some nice vision for red side towards that Rift Herald, so if this Trundle does try to take it, they will know. The question is, do they have the ability to stop it? That's the real question.
Yeah, I mean, Udyr is still power clearing here, so still continuing to stack the CS lead against Dark Juice in the jungle. Now might have a good collapse here, as this here and Pat Clark may have walked up too far.
Nylik goes in, actually gets the Nami ult. Onyx is here as well with the chase. Nylik flashes in, Pat Clark will flash away. Asteria might be in trouble. Onyx with the ghost, but he doesn't have flash. And ultimately, even Summoner trade, just the flashes for the flash and the ghost. But the bot lane gets away there for Maniacs.
Felt a little non-committal here from ZWG. They kind of grabbed the ult, and it looked like they were stutter stepping back and forth and not hard committing to the engage like maybe they needed to here. Potentially just didn't have vision on the Trundle, so we're a little bit worried about who else could come and rejoin that fight, make just flip the numbers on them. But I think they just needed a hard commit there. You had the ults, you had everything you wanted. It just looked a little too scared to start the fight.
Yeah, and so much dog just pushing in this Shen. So really that push earlier did nothing. And now this Ornn, 14 CS lead here, should get a little bit smaller, but against, you never want to see an Ornn ahead in lane. It's hard to bully him out, but that's not good because that's late game scaling on the side of Maniacs here.
Yeah, it also just, it's helpful if you can find the solo lane lead against Shen. The more you can shove against the Shen, the less Shen gets to ult out of the lane and not be punished for it, right? So if Ornn's constantly at your tower knocking down plates, it just makes it that much harder for X-Ray to try and find a play on the opposite side of the map. We still haven't actually seen the Stain United come out either. To me, that's what they were backing off for, was making sure that the Shen ult wouldn't come down and just flip that fight on its head.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel about the Merc Tread start here for X-Ray?
It makes sense. It may not be the best for laning here, but when you're playing into Trundle's Slow, Vex Fears, plus Nami's CC, there's enough in this game that I think you can say that X-Ray might want to build Mercs this game, just so they have the chance to try and move around in a fight.
Yeah, no, I'm not questioning the Merc Treads as an item. I'm just saying rushing it.
Oh yeah, that
does give MR, but I think
that
you can build better things.
Yeah, the rushing the Merc Tread, so like the MR argument's usually like that's why you build it, right? So you can have some MR in lane. But you can also just build a null magic mantle and have way more MR. I'm actually going to fight here.
Action here. So much dog actually ease forward, hits the wall. This is, you have to believe this is a dead Ornn. So much dog. Just get some damage down. The Silas Ornn comes through, I do believe. But I think this actually goes way better for Maniacs. They get that Rift Herald as soon as they see Onyx in the top lane, and they are just running this Rift Herald. They will get all 5 of those plays, and they're going to get another charge here. So really, this trade, not that good for ZWD, and you have, yeah.
It is just the kind of trade that they have to make at this point, though, right? You can't necessarily look for the bottom lane. Yes, you burn the summoner spells, but your own bot lane, if it's a 3 versus 3, we'll just lose out completely. It's Lucian, Nami, and they're currently ahead. So I like the look to go top lane. What's unfortunate is that tower went down in bot side, because now this Lucian Nami is much more able to roam around the map. You're going to have this most powerful position of your team, your captain in Asteria as well, moving around the map and going to be starting to make plays here. They can look for plates mid, they can get this dragon, and there's no reason for them to be bot side, right? With dragon off the map, now they can just play for next herald, and they're in a really good position to continue to just build a gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, Onyx counter jungle there, got the wolves. I don't even know if he got the Gromp, but Dark Juice gets the second Drake there, and it's a Hex Tech as well, so
Yeah, Onyx is actually currently the redeeming thing for this team. I mean, if you can get Udyr to 3 items, it's gonna be so hard for them to get through him. They have Trundle ult, they have a lot of CC, but still, there's so much that that a fed Udyr can do to just shred through anyone, despite how many tanky stats they may have.
Yeah, but my concern is that even if this Udyr is the sole person that gets a lead here on the side of ZWD, it still won't be enough. Because all Maniacs has to do is kill this Xayah, zone out the Sylas or make them ineffective, and they can just kite out or peel off the Shen and the Udyr, and then this is looking like a lost game or a lost team fight for Maniacs. Goblin has to be careful here. He will get slowed by that pillar. Stand United comes through. The Feather Storm comes through as well. And Asteria overextended then top lane will die. He got cold just as well as he was culling Nilik, and that is a free kill there to the side of ZWD.
All right, Onyx, it's time. Bring out the Dark Seal, bring out the Medgeist. You are this carry of this team this game. You have to pull off something crazy. I think it's the only way. But Asteria getting caught out there, pushing aggressively for the solo kill, a little bit maybe overzealous. I mean, it's fair to say he was winning lane. He was punishing Ilek just for trying to farm, but it's not exactly your role here. As X-Ray though on the side will survive thanks to Onyx once again coming down here. So
Donnie gets chilling
actually looking for the fight.
Yeah. It was just a chilling smite used by Onyx, so not really a whole lot invested. I will say Asteria is a man after my own heart. I would have probably done the same overextension, as you probably know, as my captain. But, yeah, stashing into 4 people when they have Terra Gold as Zeri. But
yeah,
we don't talk about that. And Asteria, I don't know if you want to be here. You're level 8 versus level 10. Pat Clark is coming up, but I think this is a little bit of disrespect here aside of Asteria. He has to rein that in if he wants to survive in these lanes.
I mean, it is the 2-level lead, but it is also the 30 CS lead here for Asteria. So a completed Mythic versus Lost Chapter Merc Treads isn't a great dueling build here for Nilak, but there is now the bot lane also rated it up, so the Goblin Hollow's Eve not going to be able to take down this turret just yet.
Yeah. As we continue to see the wet noodles slap each other, but so much dog with that percentage HP damage and the grasp and the Sunfire is getting the better of these trades and just continues to shove way more effectively than X-Ray. And X-Ray is actually getting pretty low here. The Oral actually is coming through here. Will knock up X-Ray, but so much dog is feeling non-committal. Just wants to bully X-Ray off of this, wants to use that demolish stack. As the Nami ult comes through, Onyx will be CC immune, but he will not be HP immune. And Asteria actually gets a whole lot of free culling, and Onyx dies. Nilik getting kited out here actually will heal up a little bit, but it won't be enough as House Eve gets finished off. Goblin is trying to be the hero, but he finds 0, and that is the Rift Herald, 4 Maniacs, 4 people dead, and this is looking like a disaster.
Yeah, a 4 for 0 trade is brutal there. They have Shen. I think the Stand United wasn't even off cooldown when that fight started. I think it kind of came off in the middle of that. But poor X-Ray actually looking for a solo kill, might just get it.
Yeah, this might be a consolation here. I think X-Ray can't do it. Oh, fails the flash a little bit, but I think he's fast enough. Yep, and that is a consolation. Gets so much dog, kind of forgot that he had no mana. But now Dark Juice and Donnie are chasing down X-Ray. So ultimately, 5 for 1 overall.
Taking a quick step back here, you kind of mentioned how hard so much Dominic was shoving in X-Ray here in the top lane, and he had the teleport, so I think maybe there was a chance or some kind of communication that like they wanted the Shen to teleport down, but with the wave at the tower and so much dog just continuously knocking on the door, they couldn't actually TP the Shen into the fight. So with no Sin United available, no teleport available as an option for this team, they opted into the 4 versus 4, and with the numbers that they had in that fight, Onyx kind of just ran in, took a bunch of damage, and didn't really have a chance to do much, but we're now setting up with those dragons, so I will allow you to take back on over here, Proton.
Okay, well, we'll see if these guys start doing anything. Oh, but this might be a big Ornn ult opportunity alongside the Nami ult. Actually, the Nami ult finds 2, finds the bot lane. Onyx is already super duper low. He is burning down with that DOT. Goblin is face checking, gets Gale Force. Nihilate dashes in to 5. I don't know if that was the play. A 5-man knockup for Hallow's Eve, but I think it's too little too late. X-Ray is low, Onyx is low. This is going to be a third Drake soul point over to Mug Maniacs.
It looks like Goblin wanted to try and step up and take the fight there. I mean, it was optimal positioning for Xayah. You had everyone funneling into the choke right in front of you. But at this point, I think they're just too far ahead. There's just too much damage coming at you. And Trundle was able to get a bite, I think, on the Xayah for the kill. So on top of not having vision, being behind will just make that fight impossible for them to win. Goblin goes down, and then at that point, the damage in the choke was just not available for them to try and make a comeback fight happen.
Yeah. And X-Ray, he doesn't have the shield anymore. So he might just get bopped here, and he does. Hallow's Eve with the late Janna ultimate. Should have used that a little sooner if she was going to do that at all. And X-Ray, I think that's a little bit of a tilter play.
That's a rough one. So losing the Shen here just kind of hurts their ability to play a little bit more on the map. Obviously, there's no objectives up right now, so it's not like they can just sprint it to Baron or anything. But not having your Shen available to push out one of these waves, run top lane, catch that wave as it comes up, I mean, it just sucks to die like that. It's not a necessary death. It won't get their team a ton, but it's just adding to the gold pile that Mug Maniacs is starting to build up here.
One criticism of So Much Dog, other than that kind of free death that he gave earlier, I don't think I've seen him hit a single pillar knockup this entire game. Maybe adding another criticism here, actually, he's just too tanky. But we'll see if So Much Dog is able to hit a single knockup this game other than the Ornn ult. Because I'm really waiting. I want to see him do it.
I mean, if they continue to fight in chokes like they have, he should have an angle for it. But I mean, really, in this game, there's nothing stopping the Ornn ultimate from being the best possible engage tool. I mean, they have Janna ult, which can maybe push Ornn far away enough from the ultimate that he won't be able to get the second R off to look for the knockup. But honestly, I mean, like, you have go buttons on the side of Mug Maniacs. You have the gold lead. It's a bit of a formality here, and it really is just ZWG waiting for them to make a throw play, either on Baron or one of these dragon fights by grouping up a little too close. And it's the only path they have back into this game.
Yeah. And as we reach 20 minutes, Baron is spawning. It doesn't look like Mug Maniacs has any interest in it right now. They just want to keep on farming, keep on cleaning these waves. Goblin actually has a CS lead here, but is 0-3 compared to 4-1-3. If we look at the gold, actually, Asteria is 1.6k gold up. So despite that gold CS lead, it doesn't even matter. I think X-Ray has to be careful here. It looks like Mug Maniacs is getting a good collapse. I think that was the Vex ult that just completely whiffs. The Nami ult comes through, and X-Ray does get knocked up. He doesn't have the auto attack block. And Asteria, I don't know if Pat Clark needed a flash there. I guess the Onyx Udyr is always very scary. He did have a very good performance in the show match. That is actually a lot coming through with that storm. But Onyx might just get traded anyway. The turret falls down. Dark Juice. And Asteria just calls Onyx. So despite a lot of damage there, with the minions getting cleared out, the turret was just too low. And Onyx falls.
It was a massive glacial storm, but they just knew that they could tank out the damage. It's only he's super far ahead, no demonic embrace just yet. Oh, we have another fight though.
And
Much
so
dog
much
getting
dog.
caught out.
Yeah, so much dog. I think is so much dead here.
Oh.
Actually fails the flash, but Pat Clark is here to save his behind. Asteria is taking an offensive position, gets ignited, and Goblin actually Gale Force is trying to find some sort of play, but he just is too far behind. He doesn't have enough damage. And ultimately,
I'm shocked Dart Juice didn't go in off that. I mean, he had a great flank there on the Trundle. A lot of cooldowns already been used. They wouldn't really have had a way to stop him from just walking in and hitting people. So it's kind of surprised he didn't even call off the fight, but with so much dog being so low and a lot of cooldowns of their own being used, maybe they just want to reset, look for the fight again with everything up and everyone's health bars at full.
Yep. As we have a little bit of a stalemate, just people pushing and clearing out mid lane. I do think that ZWD should probably recall and spend some of their gold here if they have any gold, because Mug Maniacs reset, and they already have the gold lead. That's not what you want to do, is if you're already behind and you haven't spent your gold.
And on top of that, 30 seconds to Dragon. This is normally the time where you'd want to complete components, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they just have nothing to complete. They haven't been earning much gold on their team, only 3 kills here. So it's just Goblin looking for a little bit more farm. They're gonna try and get mid push here to allow them into the river. And I mean, again, you just don't want to give this Ornn and this Trundle the soul. It's just gonna hurt so much more. But do they really have an angle to stop this from happening? Not so much.
ZWD had the inside track, but they were playing so scared, they're just giving it up as Pat Clark and Dark Deuce face check. Nihilik steals the Nami ult, but Nami ult will get back, but Donnie is a casualty of this fight, so maybe ZWD gets this Drake. But I think they're just going for Baron. They say, hey, you can take one Drake, we'll just take Baron.
Yeah, this is a little interesting. I think that they still had a chance to fight this one out, but also not respecting that the wave did get pushed out, so it allowed them to look into the river there for ZWG. Now Mug Maniacs looking to turn on the Baron. It will be the 4 versus 5. Can they make the stop happen? Already down to half.
And
X-Ray
Mug Maniacs just
zoning them off on the Shen! They got too scared!
I don't think it was X-Ray specifically. I think it was Onyx was coming in. They probably suspected he had a smite. Objective bounties here on the Drake, on the turret, so maybe comeback gold here. The gold lead reduced to just 5k here. At 24 minutes, it's not ideal, but it is something.
I don't know the name of the movie trope specifically, but like when you know, some weak little dude walks up and scares off a whole army of people, but it turns out that there's an even bigger and scarier thing behind him that he didn't know about. It's like the third party. That's what just happened there on the Baron.
Yeah,
Right?
and So Much Dog misses another knockup. I'm getting heartbroken here. Oh, Stand United comes through, and the opposing Ornn comes through as well, but it will just miss because Nihilik just commits. This is a tanky Ornn, but So Much Dog cannot win this 1v3. Dies, but now they see Onyx on the other side of the map. They will start off this Baron, and Hallow's Eve is trying to clear out some vision, is trying to place some vision, but 2 control wards. Onyx is hauling tail to get over to this Baron. The TP actually comes through, and Mug Maniacs, Nami ult gets proc the tidal wave, and Mug Maniacs just gives up another Baron take, and now ZWD, they're trying to find some sort of come up. I don't know what the word would be, but Nihilik actually takes a lot of that Coaling Dark Juice, uses the Trundle, so he's stealing those stats. He is taking up for a very long time. Hallow's Eve is not there to shield his team. This is a double kill for Donnie, and Pat Clark and Donnie have to run away as Goblin gets his lethal tempo stacked up. He has double buffs. He is feeling pretty good. He has another kill to his name, but So Much Dog is here to just face tank, and Goblin cannot do anything against this Ornn. Gets smacked, gets brittle. Pat Clark is running away. He doesn't want to get the kill over to Goblin. Donnie will get that, is on a killing spree. So 3 kills in that fight for Donnie, and Pat Clark barely survives alongside Nihilik. And actually, Nihilik takes a lazy recall, caught sleeping, and that is 4 kills for Donnie in that fight.
That was fully blind. Donnie just threw it there, banked on the fact that there was going to be a lazy recall from Nihilik, and cashes in on another 300. I like the look here from ZWG. They had the kill on the Ornn in the top lane, or sorry, in the bottom lane, went over to the Baron and wanted to try and bait Mug Maniacs into that 4 versus 5. Unfortunately, again, though, they're just so far ahead, so it hardly matters. Rough fight there for them. They did manage to get a couple of shutdowns, though. They're managing to stop this Baron from actually being taken. So despite it looking kind of like this back and forth, this is actually ZWG playing very well into this gold lead.
Yeah, it was surprisingly close. But now, with more items and more gold on the board for Mug Maniacs, this Baron is just free. There is no contest this time. 3rd time's the charm for Mug Maniacs. They will get that Baron. They will recall. Let's see here. They do have quite a bit of gold to spend. Donnie actually had 2k there. So
I liked this. They said, you know what? Okay, fine. Ornn, you don't get to side lane. We're just gonna 5-stack the Baron, and they won't come and fight us. And that's fair because I mean, when you have this kind of gold lead, you can't take those 5v5s. So instead of looking for the contest and just kind of failing, they just give it up entirely. Gonna opt to try and get some farm of their own in the side lanes. Shen hitting the recall right now. I'm assuming he's backing for an item here. Woo! little dangerous. But
Nothing
with this Dragon
happens.
also up in 1 minute and 10 seconds, and the Baron already on this team.
Asteria!
This one's
Ease!
dead.
Gale Force is in! Cold! That was beautiful by Asteria. Goblin absolutely evaporates.
Yeah, that's the risk, and now 4 versus 5. The primary wave clear of this team down in the Xayah. They're looking at mid turret here. Should be an inhibitor if they play this one correctly.
Yeah, with Baron and one of their primary damage sources down. So Much Dog actually gets the Ornal, knocks up Nihilake, but now that is Ornal down. That is a big engage tool down. That Nami ult completely whips. The turret will get destroyed. Onyx, Glacial Storm, he is a frozen Phoenix. And this gold lead is not frozen, it is the opposite of frozen. And now Mug Maniacs has the inside track here for this soul.
I don't think this one's going to be contestable. Donnie's out here looking at his zone, looking
my
at chunk.
God.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, Donnie, 8-1 with that Shadow Flame.
Dragging up now in 6 seconds. They won't have Janna for this fight. Should just be a quick and easy take here for the team, and even potentially a turn, as it looks like they want to try and contest this one.
Yeah, X-Ray is trying to just go in. Donnie just uses the Zanyas, does a little bit of trolling. So Much Dog doesn't actually have the Ornal yet. Nihilake does have the opposing Ornal, but this is Mountain Soul for Mug Maniacs. They are feeling so tanky. Goblin throws out the Feather Storm, but this is X-Ray dead. Dark Juice and So Much Dog are tanking so much they're not even dead yet, and that is a double kill for Asteria. So Mountain Soul found 2 kills as well, and I don't know if there's any way that ZWD comes back from this.
That was, those lives can give thanks to the Mountain Soul. I'm pretty sure the extra resistance there actually keeping So Much Dog and Dark Juice alive in that fight, bleeding around 300, 200 HP on both of them. So insanely close. Almost managed to take down 2 kills, but there's just too many dragons, too many stats. It's looking nearly impossible, like you said, to come back in this game. As So Much Dog even just sitting out here, collected a few more items. Every objective belongs to this team, and with the next inhibitor down, they're going to start looking for these pushes on the side lanes, and there isn't really anyone to match. I mean, X-Ray can try and create pressure on the map, but the Shen just isn't wave clearing fast enough.
Yeah. 8k gold lead here, but with the Ornn upgrades coming through, with that Mountain Soul, this gold lead in realized gold is actually way more. Donnie might have overplayed his hand here. Never mind, just veers away. Onyx is too taking them out. And that is a beautiful Nami knockup as So Much Dog goes in, uses the Ornn ult, will knock up X-Ray. X-Ray flashes in a straight line, and he is just a straight line to the base. Goblin is trying to find some sort of damage, but he'll just get cold. He'll get Gale Force. And I don't know. I don't have very much to say because this is just looking like it's done and dusted here. A little more than 30 minutes.
They're still saying the Nexus isn't dead just yet. I ain't here, Novel. X-Ray's gonna look for something here,
yeah.
But Goblin
Minions
trying to find some damage.
Dead. Minions are dead,
The
but
poke?
super minions are here. Onyx is still dead for 12 seconds, and Mug Maniacs just says, okay, fine. We'll give you a little bit of CS as a treat, but they're probably gonna head to top lane and get those turrets here. Just collect more gold, collect this red buff. And
This is the classic problem of you got the Mountain Dragon and not the Ocean Dragon. So they win the all-in fights. The all-in fights are good, but if ZWG can survive, they just walk back into Fountain and regen back to full. They did manage to get quite a bit of poke in the
actually
jump.
gets here, just immediately exploded. That is the power of the Vex, especially the Shadow Flame. The shield just shields the death. It doesn't shield the death, excuse me, causes the death because you get increased penetration, I do believe. And yeah, Onyx. Oh, the Vex ult does come through. Does Donnie try to find something? He is low on mana. He actually does go in, uses the Zanyas, and the combo comes through. Nihilake is an inch to death, and now he is millimeters to life. And by that, I mean he is dead. X-Ray also dead. The auto blocking does a lot, but he has no teammates left. X-Ray's dead, and Mug Maniacs is just running it down mid, but not in the trolling sense because they have 5, and ZWD only has the bot lane. Jaina will shield this turret, but it will not be enough unless Goblin and Hallow's Eve can pull some sort of hero play.
I mean, they killed the wave, so this is going to be at least 10 more seconds before they can really start hitting these turrets. Might buy enough time for Nihilak to come up, but again, this is still just such a strong team here, right in front of your Nexus towers. It's all you got left. We'll see if they can make the stop happen.
Yeah. And the Demolish comes through, the Ornal comes through, Hallow's Eve actually gets targeted towards Goblin. Goblin actually will Featherstorm that Vexel, but it doesn't even matter. They just cleared the Nexus. And that is game 1 here for the side of Mug Maniacs. So,
Dominant
Sopan,
fashion here.
Yeah, dominant fashion. Honestly, the bot lane and the mid lane of Mug Maniacs played extremely well. I think there were a lot of Nami ults. So much dog could have landed more Ornals, could have got caught, could have not got caught out a few times. Any comments, Solpan, before we take it to a break before we get into game 2?
It's a rough time. That was 3 losing lanes in that game. Shen losing to Ornn, the Sylas losing to Vex, and Lucian Nami with their little fancy cheese adding to how powerful their lane is already. I want to see stronger laners here for ZWG. You can't just sack all 3 lanes and expect to find that win. You have to have some kind of point of aggression, especially, and then, like, even then they had 3 losing lanes and a farming jungler. So there was, like, Udyr is happy to farm up, but while the rest of your team's just bleeding out, I mean, it's just a tough look for him. So I'm hoping to see some changes up in draft here. We'll see what they can do here in the next game.
Yep. And with that, we will take it to a brief break. Stay tuned, folks. It will just be a minute. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. This is the Game 2 draft. Again, remember that this is, in fact, pre-recorded. So these are just the drafts here. Mug Maniacs and ZWD, they're on the same side. Questions or comments on this draft, Sopan?
So I think there's a fun little story here. If you kind of flip between the 2 drafts, game 1, ZWG bans Morgana, Akali, Malzahar. Game 2, all 3 of the first bans are champs from that last game. So they get rid of the Ornn, they get rid of the Vex, and they get rid of the Lucian.
Yeah.
First picks here being the Caitlyn for Mug Maniacs. Asteria looking for that lane dominant ADC. Rob actually opting into Misfortune here, which isn't exactly lane dominant, but does have that team fighting potential. And then, of course, we got the classic junglers and bot lanes first rotation, so no team willing to reveal their solo laners early on. Sejuani into Trundle, very good for ZWG here. It's the classic counter matchup, can send that Sejuani into negative stats if done correctly. And we get to the solo laners. So ZWG locks Sion as red first pick of the second round, and then you get Riven into it. So that is an absolutely brutal matchup for Sion. Riven has so many ways to knock you out of your decimating smash on top of just being a strong laner into a tank. Feels really good if you can play that matchup correctly. And then the mid lane, they picked Sylas, and there actually isn't a Vex available to be that classic counter pick there in the mid lane either. They go for the Orianna instead. So Nihilak's kind of just playing for the team once again. Overall, Mug Maniacs having this very powerful Caitlyn, they're going to try and rotate around from lane to lane. And ZWG having this team that wants to run at you and then press all their R's on you.
Yeah. Also, do you keep on saying ZWG? I think it's ZWD.
My bad. Yeah, I did.
ZWD. ZWD. Yes. Also, something to note, so much dog here with the Riven. He actually used to be a Riven one-trick, if I remember correctly. So we'll see if so much dog can pull out the Riven plays. As we go into just a brief, very quickly, just a brief break as we get into the game. Any final comments, Solpan?
We're looking good here. We'll see if they can pull off the reverse sweep, or if it'll just be a quick 2-0 from Mug Maniacs.
Yep.
Again, the drafts are locked in. It's all going to come down to execution here, and we'll get into the game.
Okay. Welcome back, folks. We are here back into the game. Like I said, very brief break. We will see if there is any sort of level 1 cheese going on. It actually looks like this ward does come out from the bot side of ZWD, so they're saying, fool me once, shame on you. Actually, Howl's Eve will get some gold there, gets the 20 gold.
Ooh. Nice heads up there by Goblin. So, able to avoid the cheese this time around, not willing to give it up twice. I like to look here towards that bottom lane, making sure I mean, obviously, you give it first blood once, you're never going to let yourself give that away the second time in the exact same fashion. So once again, a very bot-centric game here. As we got the Sion tank at the top lane into the Riven. There is some potential. We can see Sejuani roam on up there. But everywhere else on the map, you have the Sylas versus the Orianna. Shouldn't be anyone solely killing anybody in that lane. It'll all be, once again, about this Caitlyn Morgana and their ability to take down towers in the early game.
Yeah, definitely. Spat Clark will actually throw out
Woo.
a binding, but it is just too short. And more gold here on the side of Hallows Eve. Goblin dodges that. Built over Peacemaker, I believe it's called.
And both these teams fighting very aggressively for this push. You saw Goblin got an early auto in there. Might be just what they need to hit level 2 before this other bot lane, as they're just shuffling so incredibly aggressively right now.
Yeah. Actually, something I noticed that Donnie is on the Sylas this time, so maybe he's saying, hey, you kind of sucked on the Sylas. Well, actually does get the stun there, or the attach. But as I was saying, maybe Donnie's saying, hey, you sucked on the Sylas, or you weren't able to capitalize on the Sylas. I'll show you how it's done. Hallows Eve actually just walks forward. They know they get level 2 first, and now Asteria and Pat Clark have to be careful. Actually, Donnie finds the nice chain, finds the ignite, and Nilik has to flash away. That is no flash on Nilik. And Donnie here with the lane pressure.
Yeah, Donnie trying to prove me wrong and make me put my foot in my mouth here. I said no solo kills mid lane. Forces the flash out of Nilax so early, but there is a Trundle in the wings. Onyx looking for the gank here if he goes aggressive one more time.
Yeah. So much dog. Actually, I was going to say getting a lot of damage, but X-Ray is just getting more. That is the power of the Scion. But So Much Dog is getting the early push here. Oh, X-Ray is getting really low, and that is a first blood here for So Much Dog. Can So Much Dog survive? Cannot. But that is 100 gold advantage for So Much Dog. Also has the TP. Nilik is just getting super duper low, but Donnie has no flash, has no ignite. Onyx is here to steal this. Actually does steal it away, and Dart Juice saying, hey, you stole my lunch, but Onyx might get collapsed here. He will use the flash. And actually, Donnie gets juked. So that is
really good patience.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the instinct is I need to get out of this jungle, I need to flash this wall immediately, but there was a chance that Donnie just chains the other direction and grabs you. So I actually like the wait there. As soon as he saw Donnie come around the corner, then using the flash to actually get over the wall. So just nicely played escape. Was forced to put a summoner for the
might be
red.
in trouble here. Tries to poke out Hallows Eve. Hallows Eve says, okay, I will chain you. And Asteria has to flash away. X-Ray just taking more punishment here in this top lane. But that might be all on purpose, as Onyx is here with the double buffs, with the red buff. So Much Dog is just getting clobbered, has no flash. And that is a kill over to Trundle. Goblin is actually Faith taking this, and now Dark Juice is down here, but he's super duper low. Hallows Eve might be dead, gets healed up, but now Goblin gets the kill. Pat Clark is taking minion waves, including the cannon and the Misfortune auto attacks. So really, just a bungled gank there by Dark Juice, way too low.
I don't know what you're thinking there. I mean, like, this all comes back to Onyx actually chunking out the Sejuani there earlier in the jungle. Didn't have the health bar to actually make this first gank work off the first clear. Way too low to come in, like you said. Tries to find something on a Hallows Eve there, but Goblin with a somewhat aggressive, somewhat defensive flash, flashing to actually heal Hallows Eve, and then finalizing the kill. Just well played here by this bottom lane.
Yeah, and look at the top side. Onyx is looking to bait. So Much Dog again says, I know you're very aggressive on this Riven. You can chunk out this Scion, but we're hoping that you do that. But I don't think So Much Dog is taking the bait for now.
I mean, there's no reason for him to walk up the wave still all the way back. But
I spoke too soon, and now So Much Dog is here. No flash, is getting clobbered. Should be able to get away. No, actually, no. Gets knocked up. Gets exploded. And that is another death here by So Much Dog. 1 in 3 now. Typical Ribbon.
It's so hard actually now for Dart Juice. I mean, when you're playing Trundle Jungle, normally you want to try and get that recall off after your first gank.
Speaking of recalls, X-Ray and Onyx caught sleeping. This is a shutdown on the Scion, but this is
Zombie Scion.
Zombie Scion. Dark Juice just gets held against the wall, between a rock and a hard place, and a Scion smashing you in the face. And okay, Donnie's is clearing out top. For a second, I thought he was going back in on Onyx, but
this is a powerful back here for Onyx. Got the Sheen, got the Caulfield's Warhammer, 2 kills to the name. feeling really good here on Trundle. I'm assuming Inspiration second as well, so having these early kills and assists will just bring those boots online much faster. Feeling really, really good here. Normally when you stay out that long past your first clear as a jungler, you don't get anything, especially because laners will come back with items at that point. The other jungler could be stealing your camps, but nothing actually gets stolen away here. Onyx gains everything and loses nothing off that trade.
Yeah, Nylik actually gets level 6. Well, that's not Donnie. It's so much dog. So much dog taking a lot of punishment. There was some sort of lane swap going on. I guess Donnie decided to stay up there for a long time, and now this Riven is just in an even worse position.
Does have the fruit in the river there to try and heal back up. Onyx now eyes on the dragon. Has no one really around bot side to help out, but I mean, Dark Juice obviously doesn't want to check this pit 1v1 as it will just be quickly one duel, but it looks like actually Onyx just opts out of the dragon, so no one's going to be taking any neutral objectives just yet. Still looking to try and find the right setup for him.
Yep. The Drake buffs a little bit ago in the season makes Drakes earlier hard to take. You really need to have coordinated teams, coordinated vision. As we see a little bit of poke, Dark Juice is in this tri-brush. Will get spotted out, probably. Asteria and Pat Clark, they are making it very obvious that something's going on. Goblin goes the wrong way, gets exhausted, gets rooted. The sign is here. Oh, sorry, that's not the sign. That's Donnie with the signal. And Donnie just runs him down, and that is Goblin dead.
Sending everything but the Riven down there in the bottom lane to find the kills, so we'll pick up Goblin. We'll lose a little bit for it, but there is also the Dragon here, so overall, big worth here actually for Mug Maniacs. They're going to be happy walking away with the wins here.
Yeah. And this is first Drake going over again to Mug Maniacs. Not a whole
They'll
lot
be traded
to say
out.
right
There
now.
is the Rift Herald on the other side, so they do know they're on this. They will be trading back one neutral objective for that, so it's not all bad, but certainly losing your ADC, more loss on this Goblin, does hurt their team quite a bit.
Yeah, and as soon as this Rift Herald goes down, you have to believe that So Much Dog is going to be sweating. It's just freezing in this lane, but this is going to be very scary. This Rift Herald goes down, Onyx is taking the blue buff, and So Much Dog, I think, has to pay deference, has to pay respect, probably has to play back in this lane. If he doesn't, he's going to get turret-ove, and I think he dies.
There is a ZWD coming up, so there's potential for some heavy lockdown underneath this turret. Onyx actually looking aggressively here, but Dark Juice, nice usage of the sweeper, will spot him out.
Yeah. Onyx just runs away, doesn't find anything. They notice Donnie's MIA as well. Donnie actually pretty low on mana, alongside Nylik. So
I actually think hitting that sweeper plant was a little bit of a misplay from Onyx, because there was nothing that really showed that he was in that side of the jungle. And he kind of knew that ZWD had to come to that top side because she was just bot side, right? So off the back of a recall or just walking up, ZWD should be pathing that way anyways. Hitting the plant just revealed his location and prevented him from maybe looking for some kind of solo kill in the jungle.
yep, looks like Goblin is just trying to stay even in this lane. Will take the Gromp because the Journal's not there. Should get that mana, should get that HP. So that is some gold and some healing for Goblin. But he's fallen behind in CS. That's just what happens when you play against Caitlyn Morgana. It is a very strong combo.
We're already at minute 10 here. Still 4 more minutes to take the last remaining 3 plates on this turret in the bottom lane. Asteria and Pat Clark doing a phenomenal job of just playing the lane dominant duo the way they need to. They played the Lucian Nami. They're playing the Morgana Caitlyn. It's 2 lane dominant duos back to back, and they're doing everything they need in these games to play towards that.
Yep. Watch for a play in the bot side, though. Hollow's Eve is trying to find the root, but Pat Clark just spell shields. Oh my god! Onyx has to flash the to make sure the ult doesn't come through, and an X-Smithy here by Dark Juice, who's just getting clombered by the lethal tempo Trundle, but Morgana root, or Morgana binds you for like 3 seconds, and ultimately a whole lot of things thrown in the bot lane, but nothing found because people cannot aim their abilities.
I honestly don't think there was a way to kill that Trundle, because as soon as ZWD walks into range, Onyx ults, gets the resistances, and just be sitting pretty for a little while.
Yeah, and notice the asymmetry here, or the asymmetrical advantage on the TP and recall timers. on the side of ZWD is being used effectively. That is a big ult by Nylik, but Donnie is here. Actually finds the binding, runs away, and that is a Flash Morgana ult by Pat Clark. And this is looking like another disaster here for ZWD. Actually, Goblin, Pat Clark from downtown gets Goblin. Asteria wants to clean this up. Goblin is just running. Gets a turret plate.
We'll take it.
Dirt Juice
I mean,
is just taunting. That's a disaster there by ZWD. What I was going to say is that Nylik TP'd earlier because Donnie poked him out, and then Donnie has Ignite, and then Donnie recalled, and so maybe I was thinking the mana advantage could be there for ZWD to make a play bot. However, no. Counterpoint, Morgana.
And the thing there, too, that was a little bit risky was they were looking around that turret while So Much Dog, I think, was recalling. So Much Dog could have recalled, teleported into that bot lane, too, if they had opted into the dive. It was just a really risky look there overall. They didn't even really necessarily go for the dive, but lost that fight anyways. Maybe just overusing ults earlier on, and then not having anything to actually finish off targets later.
And an absolute whiff from MF ult, but So Much Dog steals the kill. I think Donnie was just making sure Nylik didn't escape that way. It doesn't even matter. It wasn't even close. Nylik.
It kind of looked like Donnie was ulting actually the Riven that was walking into the fight. Maybe a little bit of confusion there on the team, but they will get the Herald down finally. They will be able to claim some plates off this.
Yeah.
Really big for their bottom lane. As actually Goblin also able to just get close enough so that the local gold will also go over to him. So plates aren't just being funneled into the jungler. Always a good look here, especially since Goblin's ultimate will be massive in these team fights if they can get to that point.
Yeah. Honestly, despite So Much Dog being down so early, this is a dead Onyx. Gets frozen up.
Good look, gets the ult out a little bit too late and just gets smited on down there by the team. So another pick given on over. Dragon up here at 8 seconds. It should just be freely given over once again to Mug Maniacs as they continue to stack up here on the Soul.
Yeah. Definitely the better Dragon presence in both games so far from Mug Maniacs. But what I was going to say in the top side, and I know you're the color caster, so I'll keep this brief, that the fact that this Riven went 1 in 3 was getting clobbered and is not AFK or DC'd, I think is the reason that Mug Maniacs are doing well in this game, because as long as the Riven isn't rage splitting or rage quitting, you win the game. You have.
That's how you can tell that So Much Dog isn't actually a Riven main anymore. They are a former Riven main, because a real Riven main would have quit after that first blood.
Oh, right. My apologies. Yes, disclaimer.
Ex-Riven player.
Yeah. And Onyx, again. I guess that's revenge for earlier in the game. So Much Dog actually steals red buff. And now he's stealing his jungler's blue side. So. And
this is
Goblin dies under turret. Yeah.
That was Caitlyn ult use. I'm assuming Asteria may have hit one of those cool-looking, fancy Caitlyn combos on him, as maybe Hollow's Eve just too far away to look for any kind of protection. Looks like they were full HP. Could have maybe gone for a block on the
shot. Tries to run away. Oh, So Much Dog actually flashes to make sure that sign ult doesn't cause him to get away. He actually still does, because that Riven ult didn't find much, and Donnie dies.
Yeah, directed camera doing us a little bit dirty there, but in the end, it is a kill here in the mid lane. A nice 2 versus 1 there on a Donnie who was looking a little bit too aggressive towards Nylik here. And that top lane, So Much Dog, I'm not sure what happened. I mean, with the flash being there, it looked like it was going to be enough to allow Riven to stay in range. But somehow, someway, X-Ray still able to find the escape, burning the flash to get out. Yeah. So ult used, flash used for both top laners. Can now hopefully return to lane and just have some more farm time for the Sion. That's all X-Ray wants to do.
And while Onyx is taking his blue buff, the second Rift Herald will go over to the side of Mug Maniacs to crack open one of these lanes. The bot side is already cracked open, so with Asteria applying pressure in the mid lane, probably that Rift Herald will come down. Hollow's Eve just gets some poke, but
careful.
The rest of the team is not there.
Asteria not landing on the traps just yet, but there is...
Asteria might be caught out, but never mind. Morgana exists, and now Onyx says Uno reverse card. Sorry, Dark Juice says Uno reverse card. Pat Clark actually gets low, uses the stopwatch. Goblin has to heal up. And Onyx and Hollow's Eve and Goblin and Nylik, they're all trying to make a play, but they got played. Asteria is just so massive here that actually flashes forward. That's a bit ambitious.
God.
And actually the ult whiffs, the Orianna ult whiffs. Nylik, that is a heartbreaker. Halsey gets peace made. Has to make peace with the fact that she is dead. And the Rift Herald, like I said, gets applied mid. And Donnie is actually just here to clean up Nylik. Again, sloppily recalls. Sloppy recalls here for the side of Nylik.
That was pink worded. This is just a really unfortunate turn of events overall. Donnie looking for another one, flashes.
Goblin.
Woo! It is enough.
Frost finishes off Goblin. Goblin must feel so bad this game. This is horrifying.
Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse and worse here. Those mid lane plays absolutely brutal. They're losing potentially three turrets off this Rift Herald.
On this Rift Herald, maybe a fourth. Nope.
Auto takes it down, but that's just absolutely brutal. The gold swing off of the inner turrets is massive. The gold swing off of an inhibitor turret is insane. So really well played here by Mug Maniacs. They get everything they want. They find crazy kills here in the mid lane. I was also going to say that earlier, the Trundle Pillar onto Asteria that actually got stopped by that Morgana shield, it's not something that you traditionally consider like a Black Shield counters Pillar really well, but it prevents the knockup. So Asteria was able to just walk out of that, kited so incredibly efficiently, and there's just no way in for Onyx to actually find anything in that fight.
Yeah. Speaking of Trundle Pillar, Pat Clark actually did get his recall interrupted by the Trundle Pillar. A small victory from the side of ZWD. Goblin, again, is just up in this mid lane without anybody nearby. He gets away with it this time, but I
think Goblin's banking on the other team respecting the fact that the rest of his team is in Fog of War. But this is La Liga, man. You have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, Pat Clark actually with the ambitious Hex Gate right into the Trundle. Gets challenging Spite. It gets Trundle ulted, but Donnie is here, and Onyx might... Yeah. Donnie, Onyx actually has to flash away from Donnie. And...
Yeah, burning ult into Morgana never feels great. I know you want to try and just kill the target that you're hitting, but that is not a great Trundle ult target. So yeah. Onyx forced to flash out, gets a little overzealous with the chase, burns a lot of abilities, and now Donnie!
Oh, it's the same thing over and over and over and over, and maybe someone's dog is dead, but maybe... Gore Trigger comes through, and Goblin dies again! Yeah, they find the kill, but and Goblin doesn't even get the kill credit, and this is third pick going over. It's a slaughter.
That top lane ultimate from X-Ray to stop the teleport. I liked the look, but unfortunately Goblin's getting a little bit too close to the Riven. Not respecting the damage that can come out of that formerly 2 and 3 Riven.
And Nylik might just be dead. Donnie is so massive. With that Trundle ult, he is massive literally as well. And when Nylik is just trying to farm, is just trying to clear, he gets killed. Oh, Donnie. Absolutely just flexing on Nylik. I don't want to say it, but I have to say it. This is a flex in the mid lane. An absolute mid differential.
Donnie's coming for those power rankings, man. He's hungry.
Yeah. Onyx is running down. He's like, alright, maybe my wolves are here. No, my wolves are not here. Maybe my raptors are here. I'll take mid lane.
This is where it starts to feel really bad. When you fall behind on a non-farming jungler like Trundle, your turrets get taken, you take camp slower than just about anyone in the game, so it's kind of beneficial to like let your teammates have camps, but then like the few camps you get, it's usually just like the enemy will steal it, your teammate will steal it, and then like maybe you get like 1 or 2 out of your full clear. You just start to fall further and further and further behind. It really, really hurts to see.
And even when ZWD finds picks, it's never a good trade. It's either an even trade or it just works out not in their favor. And Nylik gets caught again. Dark Juice with the Black Shield, and Nylik respawns, dies again on repeat. Let's
flash and die.
What is so much dog doing? What is so much dog doing? It doesn't even matter how Eve is going to face check this. Maybe actually spots out so much dog. Must have seen him, but so much dog is feeling the disrespect right now.
I like the plays here, actually. I mean, like, setting up in this jungle while they start up the Baron, it's a good look.
Goblin got Caitlyn ulted for half his HP. That is not good.
certainly could be better. Baron's gonna get over here. I don't know if they actually have anything to start up this fight, but Donnie's just gonna go for it.
Point blank sign. Oh, Pat Clark actually flashes over, gets a nice binding. He might actually die. He's pretty low. Nope. Actually, that is Goblin with the misfortune ult. And so much dog is actually in here. Secures Onyx. Secures X-Ray. Actually, X-Ray will run away. Hits the wall, and this is Goblin dead. Actually, Donnie is just going massive in the backside, and Nylik might die again. Actually, won't die because the chains do not land. But this is Baron secured. 3 for 0. Sulpan, is this one done? Can we go home?
This one's pretty much done. You're at the 8k gold lead. I'm doing math correctly. That looks good. 8k gold lead. Dragon Soul up here in 2 minutes. They got the Baron. They have Inhib. It's looking exactly like last game's game state, right? Where Soul points on the table. They have the Baron already in their pockets. They already have Men Inhibitor. There's no split push threat from the side of ZWD. There's just nothing really left that allows you to find a way into this game. The one combo that works is Orianna ult into Sion ult into Misfortune ult, where you stack your AoE like crazy, but even then, they have 2 Sonya's Hourglasses on this team, so even if you catch out the Sylas or the Morgana, they're just going to go golden. You have a giant tanky Sejuani and a Riven. So, like, if you're not finishing your targets, they're going golden or healing to full. It's so incredibly hard to make the comeback happen here, even with the ult stacking.
Yeah, Asteria is taking jungle camps as well, has 2.1k gold. I don't remember how much IE is. Apparently it's enough, and now Asteria has that IE, is going to be hitting like an absolute truck. This is going to be a very scary Caitlyn in the next fight.
Yep, 3-item Caitlyn feels really good. Still,
as we notice, Onyx is trying to farm his jungle. Sorry, it's not your jungle anymore. X-Ray actually does the troll engage, and somehow Dark Juice misses that Sejuani ult. Goblin uses Misfortune ult, doesn't find anything, and Donnie just goes over the wall. Goblin has to flash away. Nylik is trying to save his top laner, but now he might have just sacrificed his own life, and it doesn't even matter. Asteria picks up that kill. So Much Dog will pick up this kill. I'm sorry, Asteria picks up that kill. He picks up every kill. 9-0-7 on this Caitlyn. Absolutely massive alongside Donnie. Howl's Eve is trying to poke out, but this is super creeps with Baron. Donnie steals the Misfortune ult. Goblin can't even stand up. Donnie just uses the ult on nothing just to say he can. And now Onyx is trying to 1v5. Not very effective strategy. And this is good game. 24 minutes about. Asteria is trying to kill Howl's Eve. Sorry, not try. Does 10 kills. Asteria under 24 minutes. An absolute stomp on the side of Mug Maniacs.
I mean, it happened 2 games in a row. Once again, 3 winning lanes here picked up by this team. You have a winning Riven, you have a winning Sylas, you have a winning Caitlyn Morgana. It's just so hard to play into. You have to find... they played it... Or, sorry, Mug Maniacs played into a gold deficit at the beginning there and still managed to come out on top.
Yeah. As this is a pre-recorded game, we don't have an interview. Sulpan, any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Watch your draft, man. If they're gonna pick a crazy hard-winning lane on one side of the map, you gotta find that same exact style on the other side. So if they get the Caitlyn Morgana into your Misfortune Karma, you've got to have something crazy on the other side, not the Sion. You got to have something that you can play around like super crazy hard.
Yeah.
Orianna, Sion, not exactly the strongest laners, so I would have liked to see something much more aggressive from either of these players, but maybe it's just not something that Nylik or X-Ray can play.
Yeah. I think Nylik really needs to clean up the gameplay there, alongside X-Ray. So Much Dog, yeah, had a rough start, but once that Riven became online, there was nothing to say in the top lane. And also, just, you cannot give Asteria an inch, she will take a mile. And this bot lane for Mug Maniacs is looking very scary. I'm excited to see Goblin maybe, like, get a better hand dealt to him in future games. But for now, very disappointing performance by Goblin. That's not really his fault per se, because the rest of his team was kind of not doing so hot.
It was rough everywhere.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough everywhere. So hopefully ZWD can come back from this, because this loss puts them down 0-1, and Mug Maniacs is 1-0. There are not that many games played in the total sum of the regular season. I think it's just a single round robin. So that should be, what, 3 more games?
The good news is for ZWD is that was the strongest bot lane they're going to have to play against. So from here on out, Rob should be getting dealt a much better hand just through lane dominance. But there is still the other sides of the map that are being exploited this game. I mean, this was relatively even in terms of ranking. Obviously, that's not the only indicator, right? But in terms of ranking, this was a very even grouping. 3 gold topside, diamond ADC, plat support.
Yeah.
So if the topside's getting abused now, they're going to have it worse later on, and you're going to have to correct so much harder in the bottom lane to make up for that.
Yeah. Thank you for casting with me, Soulpan. It was a blast
You're
having you
welcome.
be my color caster. I hope you enjoyed watching these games as much as I did. I think they were absolute bangers, regardless if they were kind of stomps. I think they were kind of fun to watch. I've been Proton Plat Player. That was Soulpan. Soulpan, do you have any last comments about just anything?
Monsters Inc. win.
Monsters Inc. will win. Monsters Inc. I will not be slandered. I will not apologize for my Iceborne Zeri.
I think you should.
I will actually apologize for my Iceborne
I want
Zeri
to
before
acknowledge
Soulpan
his tears.
subs in Space Walrus in the bot lane.